This is a concerted effort on behalf of the city to reach out to its citizens, giving them the opportunity to ask questions and make suggestions that will help this city be more effective for you. This town hall meeting was one of the suggestions made by the citizens at the candidate forum back in October. All of the departments of the city are represented here tonight. Mr. Tom Jones is substitute for Steve Jackson, who is in New Mexico. Chief Heath is Chief of Police. Chief Fairbanks, Chief of our Fire Department. You not see Mr. Plowden come in, who is our Building Inspector and Code Enforcement. Ms. Goza is our City Clerk. Mr. Coleman is our Attorney. We got Ms. Betty Jones, Ms. Annie Howard, Mr. James Mott, Vincent Gaston, Karen Johnson, and David Ham of the council. This is a talking session only tonight. No decisions will be made. However, Diane Goza, our city clerk, will be recording all questions and all suggestions, in the council and the committees of the council will address each one of these in the next few weeks and try to work them all out. Just a few house cleaning items. If you would like to ask a question or make a suggestion to the council, please sign in on this pad we got here and give us your contact information so we can follow up with you if necessary. If you would like to address the council, please come down here to where we have this microphone will be here. And if possible, between 5 and 10 minutes. Please, if you have a question, come down here to ask. Don't bombard us with questions from out of the audience, please. Please be respectful of everyone and their questions, whether you agree with their opinion or not. If you get loud, if someone gets loud and disrespectful, we're going to ask you to leave, so hopefully that won't happen. Let this town meeting bring us as a city together. There is always room for improvement. These folks up here and here work very hard, but we know there's always room for improvement. That is why we're here tonight. So before we begin, if you'd bow with me for just a moment, please. Our most gracious Father in heaven, just thank you so much for this day and the opportunity to live in a country where we are free to speak our minds, Father. We ask that tonight will be constructive, it will bring us together. Each person will be respectful of each other. For it's in Christ's name we pray, amen. Amen. All right, with that, the floor is open. If you'd come down and ask any question or make any suggestions you'd like, the council is ready to be here to serve. Who's going to be first? Somebody's got to be first always.
Well, I'll go first. Of course, my name is, I can't keep a pen in my hand. My name is Ronald Brown. And I have a couple of issues that I want to bring up again. Most of them we've already talked about before in the candidates forum. Before I start though, I want to go over a little thing that I put together to kind of express my ideas about the statue uptown. Martin Luther King once said that a threat to justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. A threat to equality anywhere is a threat to equality everywhere. That's why the statute is a problem. It's really just a small thing when you think about it, but what it symbolizes is much more. That's why I say that a vote to remove it is more symbolic than anything else. It symbolizes that we have the power through the vote to make a difference. A successful vote to remove that statue from the square after all these years. Three statues in over 130 years would inspire the uninspired, encourage the discouraged, enfranchise the disenfranchised. It would send a message to our youth that we can and have overcome, and that our vote does count. If something or someone bothers us, we have the power to take action on it. We don't have to sit back and take it. Some of us may have fear. I understand that. Martin was afraid. Malcolm was afraid. Someone told me recently that them folks are going to blow your head off. To which I say, well, I got a mighty big head. So they better use a large caliber weapon. Because if I have any ounce of brain matter left, I'll be talking about these issues. President Roosevelt said that the only thing to fear is fear itself. Mike Tyson once said, fear is like fire. It can burn you if controlled, or it can protect you from the cold. Fear is like that. It can immobilize you, or it can be the catalyst that goads us into action. It can be the thing which fuels the engine of justice. It can motivate you to get out there and vote, and many have suffered and died for us to have that right. Now, we not only have that vote, but we know our vote counts. Look at the Board of Commissioners, look at you guys, the City Council, look at the Board of Education. And if you don't like something, you don't have to march or make speeches. You can leave that to me. Save your strength, save it for election day. Use it to get up, get dressed, get in your car, drive to your local polling place and cast your votes. If you want someone gone from an elected position, do as Joe Clark did in the movie. Expel them, expurgate them, throw them out. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Now I have a handout that I'll give a copy to you guys. And basically all it's just saying here, when you Google Cuthbert, Georgia on the internet, one of the first things you see is an image of that statue. And my question is that how we want our town represented? Councilman Gatson is fond of saying that that we have to have set an environment that is conducive to bringing in business. Well, I say this, if a business Googles Cuthbert, Georgia, and the first thing they see on there is a Confederate statue standing in the middle of the city, what are they going to think about that? Are we assuming that everybody is pro-Confederate? And that's the first thing they see when they come into our town? Is that what we're assuming? I think not. And the mayor is always fond of talking about how we keep taxes down. We've kept taxes the same for 14 years, as he tells us. But look at the progress that we've made. We haven't made it. So what do we got to do? We have to have an infusion of finances to make progress. If we just sit on everything and hold it the same, the way it always has been, that's the way it's always going to be. So I say to that, we have to make progress no matter what it takes, Mr. Mayor. Now I have some solutions, some possible solutions for that statue, is that we remove it to a cemetery, move it to the old Welcome Center, the old courthouse over here, put it in that yard, place signage that states that the Civil War was fought over slavery. The Confederates lost the war in statues such as this one. We were erected as reminders of white supremacy. Or we can erect a statue or memorial to those who have suffered in bondage, i.e. the slaves. Other issues that I wish that we would push forward with this council is trying to get more jobs into the county. And I know Councilman Gatson is fond of saying that the school is the problem. Well, I don't think the school is the problem. He's fond of saying that we need to pick ourselves up by our bootstraps. Well, how do we do that if we don't have boots? Some of us don't have boots, so how do we lift ourselves up by our bootstraps? We elect you guys for that purpose. If you're not going to do things to help this city, and all you're going to do is tell us what we can do, we don't need to. We just run it ourselves. And I'm hoping that with the new board, new council configuration, that won't be a problem. And also, we talked about building a community center / storm shelter. I wish that that could be another thing that we could work on. Improving the streets, especially on the south side of town, we need to work on that. Somebody was here, Mr. Davenport, I believe, and he talked about, and also Councilman Johnson, removing the old houses that are in some of these neighborhoods. That seems to be moving very slowly. We talked about lifeguards for the swimming pool on Andrew Street. Mr. Gadsden's fond of saying that he can't find anybody to be a lifeguard at the swimming pool. My sister put a post on Facebook for one day and got several responses. What I say to him, and I've said it before, I don't think you try hard enough. I really don't. Everything is a community effort. What are you going to do? Also, like I said, I would like to see the council support the school system rather than beat the school system down. If you're saying that the school system is what is hindering us from progressing, then don't beat it down. You guys are the ones that are out there putting the image forth that our school sucks. You can't do that. Not as politicians, not as representatives of the people. And the last thing I want to ask for on the statute issue, what I see as the fairest, most fair solution to this issue is if I'm calling for a referendum, that the city council put this issue up for vote in November. Put it up for vote and see what people want. Don't let it be my decision, don't let it be anybody else's decision, individually. Put it on the ballot. I can't think of a fair way. That's democracy in action. And that's all I have.
Okay. Any of the council like to respond to? Okay.
You've been a lot of great points. Oh, can you hear me? You made a lot of great points, Mr. Brown. And if I said that the school system was the problem, maybe I didn't articulate it the right way. The problem is, well, not even the problem. One of the solutions is possibly working together. Working together there. School is not part of the problem. It's part of the process of making this great place happen. I don't want to pick on anybody, but I see Dr. Buchanan, not Dr. Buchanan, Ms. Buchanan from Andrew College out there. She's doing great things for this area right here. Doing tremendous things. Part of the system there. And our school is really, it's getting better with Dr. Madge. I must just say, it's really getting better. And thank you, Mr. Cook there. So the school is not part of the problem. The problem is, we're the problem. The First Amendment says, we're the people, in order to form a more perfect union. Not grabbing people as crabs in the basket. And if we work together, we can get a lot of things done. People have a lot of great points there. And the issue on the statute, like you said, we can take a vote on it. It's what the community wants. Not just what one person wants. So if the community wants that, like I said in the last community meeting, it's what the people, the citizens, because I'm a citizen too. But thank you.
And Mr. Gasson, I'd just like to say, you are on record saying that school was a problem.
Okay. I'll admit if I said that, I articulated it wrong. And I definitely apologize.
And if you are the person who's going out, representing this town to the state, at the Capitol, you're in Atlanta, you're everywhere. If you're the person going out and that's how you feel about the school, what are they going to think about it? That's how you was represented to us as that was a problem.
Answer that. Well, I hope everyone knows me. If I said the school was a problem, I apologize. I said it a while ago. That was my mistake. But each and every one of you should know it. You should see what I do in the community. I do it because I don't have fun for it. I do it because I care about you guys. This is my community. I live here. I love Cuthbert. I really do. And you can see it through my actions. My actions speak louder than my words. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. I wanna address, two things, and I move, let someone else, talk, more jobs. I have been in contact working with several people trying to, sell Cuthbert per se to them to bring their business, to Cuthbert and to, give us jobs. I have been working on that, also with our council support for our school system. I have been working on a sit-down roundtable meeting with our school system, our city council, our county commissions, and others that we can sit down and discuss together what all of us can do together to make our county and our city better. It's a work in progress for all of us, and we're here tonight to hear what you want from us. And that's what I'm just giving you updates of what I have been working on and looking into that we can make our city better.
I've been, excuse me, as you said, working on trying to get a lifeguard. I don't think I'm on that committee, but I thought I had one last year, but when they found out what we were going to pay, then they backed out. So it may be a concerted effort that we might need to get together and try, maybe up that pay to try to really get somebody here. I don't know what information you gave your sister and how did she put it on the internet? How did she put it online? I'm not exactly sure about that, but I do know I myself have been trying, and like I said, the pay really truly stopped the person that I had, as far as the swimming pool is concerned.
Okay.
And on the lifeguards there, I personally have had, matter of fact, I ride my bike a lot, you all know that. I was speaking to at least 7 people who said they wanted to be lifeguards, and the first thing I said was, if you're interested in becoming a lifeguard, I want you to go up there to the city hall and see Ms. Gozer and put your name on the application, because we're trying to get a class up for them. These people I've spoken to have not shown up yet. So I have been diligent. And if you have somebody that can come and do it, have them come to the city hall.
Mr. Gasson, I would just ask you, you said that at almost every meeting that I've gone to about how many people you've talked to and they don't come. Why don't you take them? Why don't you take them to Ms. Gozer's office to ensure if they're telling, it's like, come on, let's go. I'm riding my bike. Come go with me. Jump on the bike with me and let's go. Or whatever. You're just saying, I hear a lot of talk, but I don't see any action.
I'll tell you what, the best thing we can do as a community is help each other.
You say that, you say that every time.
You can help me do that.
You say that.
I'd love to do that.
You say that.
I'd love to do that.
I have a question.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Ma'am, hold on one second, let him finish
Okay.
responding.
Go ahead.
And a lot of times, you say you hear a lot of talk and you see a little action. A lot of times you're gonna see little before much happens. You understand, sometimes stuff has to happen to be put together behind, and then it develops in the front. So I'm not defending Ms. Gasson, but I'm on the council to defend off that I'm praying that he's doing just what he says, and he's trying to invoke people. Also, on lifeguard, I have spoke to a guy too about coming. We are working to recruit people in those areas, but
that's my question. I think as far as the lifeguards, what are your recruitment efforts? Because you put it in. Who reads the newspaper anymore? You put an ad in the newspaper. Who's gonna see it? You gotta update your thinking. Think outside the box about how you're advertising this stuff. You can't just throw it in the paper and then ride around on your bike and talk to folks.
I actually talked to the person, I got his name from somebody else. He told me I actually called the place where he was supposed to go get his training. I had that set up. I told Miss Betty, because I thought she was over that committee, and when he told me, when he asked about the pay, and I told him I thought $10 an hour, he said I could make that in a weekend doing something else. So he actually backed out. So like, that's what I said, we might need together to see what the going rate of pay, in this area for lifeguards. We might need to up ours. I don't know.
Excuse me, can I say something about the lifeguard, since we're talking about that subject? Last year, I can't remember what time, I forwarded some information to Mr. Gadsden. He might have forgotten it. This was after the summer, so I don't know if you remember, Malaysia Jones, a young lady out of Albany. You can take down her number. Her name is spelled Malisha Jones. Her number is 229-881-3250. She's already certified. Thank you.
That was my question. What do you have to do to become certified to be a lifeguard?
You have to go to Albany and complete a course at the YMCA that the city pays for you going over that, and pays your salary while you're over there and pays for your.
Okay, in order to sign up to do that, where would I get that information from? Okay.
And this is what I'm saying.
Because
You know, you got people that
I'm
wanna
not
do
concerned
it.
about the pay. I just want a place where I used to go and hang out for the summer. $10 an hour, I can accept that. So I'm willing to sign up to be a lifeguard, okay?
She'll sign you up.
You'll have to come to
Get
City
her
Hall in the morning.
information.
Okay,
on those
give me
contacts.
the information where I need to go.
Yeah, just put your name and telephone number on that pad, and then come
And
by
things
City
like
Hall.
this is what we
Get
need.
you
We're
all
working
signed
together
up.
right now. This is a perfect thing.
Tomorrow?
And thank you.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It's on the paper.
Ms. Jones, Ms. Howard, Mr. Mott, you know, does anybody want to respond to anything Mr. Brown said?
We
Mark?
worked mighty hard on trying to get a lifeguard.
Okay.
I'm not gonna stand and sit up
We
and
have
argue.
made an effort to get on that. Mr. Brown, I do harp on the fact that we,
You
have,
too.
You point at me, I'll remember that.
What are you mad about?
Mr. Brown, you made the point that I have harped on taxes, keeping taxes down, and I am proud of that, and whatever you say, you're not gonna shame me to make me feel like I'm not proud
Not
of that.
trying
because
to
I'm
shame.
very proud of the fact that we have run this city efficiently and not raised taxes. I'm sorry, I cannot be ashamed of that. I'm not going to. But on the statute, the last thing anybody on this council wants the statute to do is divide this city, and we are gonna consider all options on the statute. I'll say that in front of everybody here tonight, we're gonna consider all options. There are some legalities that we have to be concerned with. State law protects that statute.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It only protects it if it's on state property. It doesn't protect it on city or county-owned property.
Unfortunately, that's not exactly right. When the state changed the flag, where there was an act, the General Assembly did that, nobody really understood that there were some second parts, and this one, paragraph B, talks about local governments, and what it says, no representative of the state or local government or any department, agency, authority, instrumentality thereof shall remove or conceal from display any such monument, plaque, mark, or memorial for the purpose of preventing the visible display. So I'm not sure, I don't think anybody in Georgia really is sure exactly what that means. Nobody's been sued about it. There haven't been any cases. I have inquired at the request of the mayor about what cities and counties might be able to do. I think the consensus, although, once again, had many litigation about it, was that a city who owns their statue or memorial or whatever it is can move it as long as it's not for the purpose of concealing. It's possible to do some of the things Mr. Brown talked about. In all likelihood, move it to the grounds of the old courthouse, or
Cemetery.
of course, you got to ask the county about that. Or move it to the cemetery, somewhere like that. But it's going to have to be a place that is accessible to the public and on display, and not diminish in any way the statute itself. It's a rather complicated statute. Some of these things throughout Georgia are not owned by cities, but like the Sons of Confederate Veterans or something along the statue and have it in a particular place. Some places, nobody really knows how the statue got there. I think in all likelihood, it's public property and this is a statue owned by the city, so that is probably a little easier, but we cannot move it for the purpose of concealing it. I think we can move it at a more appropriate place if you think that's the right thing to do, Mayor. Qualified by, nobody has been subject of litigation in this. We don't really know what the court might like to say about it.
But
It's
to
a
your
statute.
point, we feel like there is an option to move it, but we have some stringent statutes that we have to follow, so you can't just box it up and put it in a warehouse.
I think if you look at my handout, there's no option on there that says anything about boxing
I
it and
didn't say
moving
that.
it to
I
a
didn't say
warehouse.
you did.
But
But,
they don't have the handout.
okay, but to your point, I feel like we have the option of moving it to the cemetery, but we have to follow the state guidelines. And it's not gonna be a very, economical venture. It's gonna probably cost the city about $50,000 to $60,000 to move it, so that's something that we're gonna have to budget for. But I have pledged to this council that we are gonna consider all options for the statute. So, and we are. Everybody's in agreement on that, so. The last thing we want the statute to do is to divide the city, but the statute, by state statute, has got to be preserved, so we gotta follow that. All right, anybody else have any comments for Mr. Brown now? The floor is open, folks. Y'all, please come up and ask a question or make a recommendation or make a statement if you'd like.
Well, today, signing up, I would just like to say, as far as taxes is concerned, we thought we were doing it to help the citizens of Cuthbert. And we know a lot of our citizens are older, and maybe in what you call the fixed income bracket. And we thought we were doing that to help them. And if we did raise it, probably somebody will be up here then saying the regular taxes are too high and we need to lower it. But our effort was really to help the citizens of Cuthbert in doing that.
I'm Jack Torbett. I was on the council for 12 years, and we worked hard, regardless of what some people might think about holding our taxes down and taking care of the city. We did a lot of work, a lot of cutting back on things to save money. And to move this statue, either to the cemetery or somewhere else, is gonna cost money. If we plan to do that, I agree we should have a referendum to be voted on, but I think the citizens should be educated to know what's gonna happen. The taxes is gonna go up, the water rates might go up, other rates might go up just to generate enough money to move this thing. I personally like to see it where it's at, stay there. I have no problem with it. I have a problem with my taxes going up, my water rates going up, but if we're gonna do all that, our citizens need to be educated about what it's gonna cost the city to do that. And you know, it's cost a lot of money. It was $125,000 just to get it put back up, because we had to buy the statue. But to take it down and move it to the cemetery or somewhere else, it's gonna cost money. We need to put something else back in this place, a fountain or something to you know, decorate the square. I was under the impression that the 82 and 27 state highways that come through there, and they own that property. I might be wrong. If it is, that belongs to the state.
They don't lay claim to it.
Well, you do something around the square, you got to get that permission. But anyway, I agree with the referendum. I think we should be able to vote for it. But I think all the citizens need to be educated about what it might cost them in the long run.
Okay, Anybody else, stand up and please, this meeting is to bring us together, not divide us.
I make a motion that you take the money that it would cost to move that statue, and you hire some private tutors to take our children of Randolph County after school and tutor them. Pay these tutors, tutor them so that they can get a better life than what their parents were. Now, my father could not pay to send me to school. I was very up into my middle age before I was able to get a high school education. I was 54 years old when I graduated from the University of Barry University in Dade County. Now, I know what it is to have to struggle to get an education. Now, we got some very intelligent young children here in this town. Let's don't fuss and spend our taxpayers' money on moving a statue when the education for our children are much more important than it is to move a statue.
Thank you, Ms. Brady, but next person, please come down to the microphone.
I want to say that they do have tutoring programs and after-school programs at the school already for our children in our community. It's just about them taking part in it. That part, I pray as we come to the table together to discuss education and city business that we can find a venture there. But I don't think those two mix at that time right there.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. Y'all went to sleep? You came for a meeting, right?
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you. First of all, I think all of you know me. And if you don't know me, somebody will tell you. First of all, Mayor Watley, I was one of the ones that asked about having the forum. And I was also one of the ones who asked who would facilitate it. Okay. And you did say you would have some help. I have a statement and I have some questions. First of all, I would like to, I don't know if the rest of you want to know, but I would like to know what each department you represent. I know you have the safety department. I don't know what departments you folk are working on. The other thing is, my thing was unifying the community. Unifying the community. There is a lot of problems within the community. Spell it out, black and white. Black and white. We are not together. All the years we have been going to the city council meetings, and I go so often, I was told once I was a council member, no, I'm not. Because I do ask questions, I do make statements, and I make suggestions. And one of the suggestions that I've made over and over again, what can we do to come together? We had a meeting in City Hall one night. It was so tense, you could cut it with a knife. That shouldn't be. This is a small town. It's almost like a hamlet. If we work together, we could get a lot done. I remember when I first came back home, I was born here. Right there where Circle K is right now. That was where I was born. I was told I needed to go back where I came from. And my statement was, I did. I came back where I came from. I came back home. The other thing was, has anything changed? I know you think, and I told them the only thing that was visible to me was you had a few paved streets, and some of you had a few toilets you could flush. Because when I campaigned one year, I went to a house, well, at the time I was campaigning in county, and the pig pens were right here, and the front porch was right there. And if I would ask for some information about your area and what we could do and how could we win this. The statement was, Mr. Lockett will tell us how to vote. And I didn't know who Mr. Lockett was, and I found out my mother was born on that plantation. My grandmother, I mean. And I know that he wasn't still here, okay? Then I come back to a meeting one night. I used to go to all of the school board meetings, Mr. Gatson, and it would just be about 3 of us there, 3. And one night I came to the meeting, and it was so crowded, and I went, oh my God, we got a problem. And why did I say that? Was because all these people came, you never saw them there before. And I didn't know, and I came to the meeting not even knowing what was happening. And it was about the situation when one of our representatives worked at the school had left. And I happened to be there that day when he left, and he wasn't fired. I asked if I could make a statement, if I could ask a question. I asked Mr. Jenkins, I asked Mr. Cook. And I said, did you fire him? And they said no. And I knew that the seniors was getting ready to graduate. And I knew they were already having a problem because I had substituted in that room for almost 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And I went by the book. And I loved the Renaissance period. And we had a great time. And then when I got a call on a Sunday night, what happened to our tests? You didn't leave them. Yes, I did. What I had done, because I thought it was going to be a problem, I took them to the front desk. I left them with the receptionist to make sure that these kids' tests, well, all that work they had done, because they worked hard that few weeks I was there. And I met the teacher coming across the parking lot. And I said, I understand they gave you those kids' tests. And very arrogantly, he said to me, well, I don't know where they are. I said, well, I'll go help you find them. And sure enough, we found them. They were just thrown over in the corner. Well, I said, you were not fired. Going back to school, those kids need you. They got to graduate. They got to graduate. That's when I was told, they said you need to go back where you came from. I said, well, you go back and tell them. I did. I am back home. And all I wanted was unity, unifying. I don't have to come to your house and sit down and eat at your table. Not just not whites, blacks. I don't have to come to your table. But there's something we can do together. We can do together. We are proud of. And I like this town. I love it. I love that hill where I am with the slow stinking foxes and the dogs and everybody coming in the yard. I love this town. And I love the people. And any of you that has ever worked with me, you know I will work with you. But I will not, as you said, you're proud of what you did. I'm proud of what I do. I love the children. And when I was in the system, I didn't treat the black child any better than I treated the white child or the white child. I meet them right now. I hear from them right now. And they'll even ask me to come back to the system. I said, I paid my dues. Listen, parents, we have problems with the parents in the schools. We have parents in the students in the schools. What can we, citizens, what can we do to unify this area? Number one, we can start planning things together that we can do and work on together. Not just a few of us, not just pick certain people out. And if you notice, whatever people are picked out, they're the same ones over and over again. Do you know how many people we have graduated in Randolph County and you haven't utilized their talent? Do you realize how many smart people you have in Randolph County that can do something and you know it? You've either used them in your houses, in your businesses, in your churches, your own personal benefits. Do you realize do, but we are not going to be able to do it until we decide that we want to do it. That we decide that we want to do it. And one of my main persons who used to always question things I did is right in the back, Mr. Peavy, over and over again. And we have a pleasant relationship. I don't have to go to his house and sit down with him. I don't have to get in his business. But if you give us something to do together, we'll get it done. Am I right, Scott? Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay? Who's next?
I'd like to speak about education a little bit. My background is education. We came to the United States because of education. I'm an accountant. My wife is a high school teacher. Mr. Jenkins brought us here. In 19 years, what I realized, and I have a little business background also. I'm a business management. I have some businesses here. So employee turnover is really a bad thing for any business. The last 16 years we have seen 7 principals have changed, about 5 superintendents have changed, and every time a lot of assistant superintendents, a lot of teachers have left, homegrown teachers are leaving. So if somebody says that's not the problem, I think that's the biggest problem. I request our elected leaders, you need to sit down and have a talk about it. We having a problem in the knees and we trying to see the brain surgeon, that's not going to help. Sometimes it's very simple solutions are there. We can sit down and, act on it rather than, trying to get advices from a lot of people. Simple solutions are there. Common sense solutions are there. We can sit down and together do it. If you leave aside the politics, we think about our generations, our next generation, our kids, we can do better. And employee turnover is a real bad thing for any businesses or any community. And if you see the last census, how many people have left the Randall County, we're going down and down. We never try to find the real reasons behind it. So, the so-called, I'm telling everybody, whosoever is concerned, the concerned citizens, we need to get together. We need to sit down and find a solution for it. This is the time we can do it. Otherwise, it's going to be too late. So this is all my, suggestions. If you want anything, I personally believe that I would like to retire here. I would like to die here in Randall County. I love it. So I don't want to leave this county. So I'm blessed to be here, and I'm open and I'm ready to help anybody, and through my businesses, through my people, and we will try to bring this community together. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Sherman and Ms. Kearney. I heard that term cooperation reiterated over and over again. I need to talk more about cooperation. What does that really mean?
What are you saying? I can't hear you.
I was just thanking for what you said. Really thanking for what you said there, Ms. Kearney.
Okay.
I also say thank you.
My name is Bobby Jenkins. Wasn't going to get up, but somebody called my name, so I better get up and say something. I guess I got a couple of issues, but we'll weigh in on the issue of the statute. About over a year ago, the Democratic Party did have a town hall meeting, and one of the main issues that was discussed was the separation in the community based on race. First of all, I'm a firm believer that you can't solve a problem until you admit that there is a problem. The issue of the statute certainly is a symptom of that particular problem, and it plays into that. So before we can solve the problem, we must all admit that there is a problem, and there needs to be more discussion about the problem, about the causes, mutual respect for both sides until we can arrive at a solution. And the Democratic Party started the conversation on racial unity at our town hall meeting. And I trust that this is an effort to continue that discussion. As it relates to the statute, if it's going to cost that much to put it or move it, then that means it costs some money to put it back up. So it seems like this meeting probably should have been held a little time ago, but nonetheless, we're having the meeting now. So it's up to us. If we want to unify this community, then I think it's incumbent upon us to take into account the feelings, the attitudes of everybody in the community. We can't just look at one side and say that, the other side and say that. And of course, I realize it's going to cost money. Anything you do nowadays is going to cost money. But if that's going to help promote unity in our community, if that's going to help our races, if that's going to help racial relationships, then personally I think that would be money that is well spent. The other thing, another speaker mentioned the streets, and I don't know whether he was including the railroad crossings or not. There are some railroad crossings that are just in real terrible shape. The one at the top of Andrews Street is pretty good. It has been redone. The one at the bottom of the street is in terrible shape. And I think there are some on the numbered streets, first, second, maybe even third, I don't know. They're in bad shape. And the ones that are about a block or two away from Villanova, they're there. And I realize, I don't know whether the city is responsible for that or whether the railroad is responsible for that. But if the railroaders are responsible, then I think it's incumbent upon the city to contact them and tell them to please do something about that. So that's issue number 2. One more and I'll sit down. The other one is a question. What is the process that the city uses to appoint somebody to the Board of Elections and Registration? I get an answer tonight. I see the able-bodied attorneys over there.
Well, we've only done it one time since we've had this new joint board.
Yes, sir.
And that individual, Mr. Ramel Thomas, is stepped down because I think he's running the school board. So that process will just begin, and it'll be voted on by the city council.
Yes, sir.
It'll come to a
Majority
consensus.
vote points.
I'm saying, is there a process for getting names or advertising? Or, I'm saying, is there a process
The
for it?
process will be it'll be incumbent upon the council to go out and get those names. Now, the mechanism we use to get those names, we haven't discussed. But it will be incumbent upon the council to come back with those names and be narrowed down to a candidate that would get a majority of the votes. So I guess this process is somewhat new because it's the first time we've ever done it. Except Senator Bill Thomas was already on the board.
Right.
So it was that was real easy. So this is the first time we've ever had to replace somebody.
Okay, then, well, I'll offer a suggestion. May I suggest that you run ads in the paper, that you make it public, and maybe get some input from the community as to those who may be willing to serve,
Sure.
and then go from that list. I realize it's your final decision.
Right.
Then maybe you can go from that list, whittle it down, and come up with a recommendation. That's all I have this time.
Thank you. Does anybody want to respond to anything Mr. Jenkins said? All right?
Well, but we do need to know whose responsibility is it as far as the railroad crossing.
That is the railroad's responsibility, but we will work with them on that. We have in the past, and we just, it's a pretty slow process. It's a pretty bureaucratic process, but we will push it harder. Since some of those streets that he referred to are just fixing to get repaved anyway, so that needs to be a joint effort.
Add Hood Street to this.
Railroad.
All right, who's next?
My name is Sandra Willis. I just have a suggestion. You know, we have several issues in the county, and we're trying to bring the community together. So I think we need to organize committees for each problem that we have. And instead of just putting all blacks or all whites on the committee, put an equal number of people on the committee together and let us work together so that we can come together to unify the community. And the issue that I have is on Dawson Street with the trash. I don't know if when the trash truck comes, it drops trash, but that street is so cluttered with trash, and when it rains, you know, all the water runs down from at the top of from Webster Street on down. So that is a big issue, and Dawson Street is one of the entrances when you come into Cuthbert. And those houses over there, I realize that the people that owns them don't live here, but that is an eyesore and a mess to see. And, you know, that's one of the things that, first thing that people look at when they come into this community. So I just wanted to bring up those issues. Thank you.
Mr. Cloud, will you check on that, Mr. Cloud? On those abandoned houses on Dawson Street?
Excuse me?
Check on those abandoned houses on Dawson Street, please. Okay. All right. Did you want to say something, Ms. Johnson?
I was about to ask them to tell them the process of it, because we've been working on that for a while.
Okay.
It's okay, if Mr. Powell's gonna work on it.
The process of dealing with these abandoned houses is extremely slow. There's a lot of legalities we have to deal with. It's not impossible, but it is slow. And it doesn't look like we're doing anything when in fact we are doing a lot. It's like what Mr. Ham said, sometimes it's behind the scenes, there's a lot going on, it doesn't show. But we are working on this. It is a terrible problem in the city, and our citizens don't deserve it. So we will continue to work on that, and we will soon be seeing some progress because it's a concerted effort toward that.
I know last year, there was, I don't know who it was, but it was a big tractor, bulldozer, that came and pushed down a lot of the trees, and I thought they was going to clear it off, but they just left it, and it has grown back up over there. So, just wanted to mention that.
Are we talking about Dawson Street, or are we talking about Martin Luther King?
Well, it's both of them.
Well, I know
It's
because
in
it's
between.
right there in the
Yeah.
triangle.
Okay, all right?
I want to say one thing. As I look out in the audience and look at everybody, once again, most of you know me, I really appreciate all of you. I see right now, I wish our younger generation were in here, so they can just gain experience from you all, because you all are right now are sharing some great experiences, really expressing some concerns, which our younger generation, which are really us in a few years, we really should hear and take part in. And this is one thing we really need to focus on. Next time we have another meeting like the Townhall meeting, to invite some of the younger generation. And I want to say thank you to the young man right there. He'll tell you, I went to the library today and I spoke to him. I said, right there, I'm going to point at you. He's right here. And I said, if you ever need a job somewhere in the city, oh, look here, I would recommend to hire you anytime.
You can't take it from the library.
May I say something? Ms. Willis said that we need to form some committees to work on these problems. While we are here tonight, all of you that are willing to work on a committee, please sign the sheet so that maybe each council member can work on a problem, and then we have some people that we know are willing to work, and we can have meetings with these people, because just like you said, it's not just the council's problem, it's everybody's problem. So you should not be expecting us to do everything. We have to work together. And if you all don't help, the council can't do anything. You know, we can't get out there and make anybody do anything. Neither can you, but we can work together and try to come up with some solutions to these problems. So if you are willing to work, since you said we have problems, if you are willing to work to solve some of these problems, please sign your names on the sheets that you just signed up when you got up to talk. And if you didn't get up to talk, and if you're willing to work, please sign the sheet. Thank you.
Can you tell us what the different committees are?
Ms. Johnson is head of the Streets and Public Works. Mr. Gaston is head of the Recreation, Cemetery and Parks. Ms. Howard is head of Public Safety, which is Police. Ms. Jones is head of the Finance Committee. Mr. Mock and Mr. Ham are not chairmen since it's their first year on. They'll be chairmen next year. But they are also on committees. They're just not the chairman of the committee.
Who in charge of cemetery?
Mr. Gaston. Okay. Floor is open. Come on, Scott.
Ms. Kearney did call my name out, and I didn't have any intentions of speaking either, but I feel obligated that she caught me at a disadvantage. We have worked together on a number of projects, and we disagree a lot, but we agree to disagree, and we do that cordially. And for that, I respect that, and we have a unique relationship. I go to a lot of the meetings, and I totally agree with Mr. Kay. One of our problems in our community is our school system. We don't apologize. It's no secret. It is one of the problems. Kay's absolutely right. Turnover, multiple turnover in any business is not a successful business. And don't apologize for that. I'm thankful for all you guys, thankful for what you do. I admire you for taking a stand, for serving. One thing that sticks in my mind is, as I sit back and listen, and it is an accomplishment for each of you to be elected, but we talk about uniting, and we talk about coming together, but what we have to do is remove the conversation of it's our turn. We have a chance. It's our turn. That's not uniting. That's not uniting. We have some options on the statute. I have my own opinion, but whatever is best for the community is what should happen. But approaching it in such a way that we have finally gotten the opportunity to do something big is not uniting us. And I wish you would think about that. Whatever the solution is, we do have to live here together. We have to respect each other and our turn, and we must do something and look at the school board, look at the city council, look at the commission. If things have changed, let's move together and not gloat on that. Let's find some equal solutions that everyone can be happy with. It's not our turn, it's our turn. It's everyone's turn. And let's just think about those things. And Ms. Kearney, we do have a unique relationship, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Did any other councilman like to make any comments? Okay.
Shaheem, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Shaheem Foster wants to say something. Go ahead, Shaheem.
Hey, good evening to everyone who's attending this call. I'm Shaheem Foster, and I'm the guy who been working with the city of Cuthbert to prepare the park, to get the equipment down at the park, and everything has been going great until maybe like 3 weeks ago. I went to Mr. Steve Jackson to ask him could he help me out removing the it's for the kids, but we're not taking the proper actions to get the job done. And I just want some answers, and I just want to go ahead and get the job done. Thank you.
Shaheem, how old are you?
23.
Thank you.
Who's that?
Shaheem Foster.
Okay. Where are we at with the equipment, being put up?
Well, right now, we got a quote from the original company we bought equipment from. We discussed the quote there.
Right.
I also looked with some other. I also spoke to some other sources within Cuthbert, because we want to keep the business within Cuthbert. Two people, I want to use their names there, and they want to get back to me with quotes. But we did with one quote, and the number from the company that we bought the equipment from, and what they wanted to put it in was just too much. And me and the mayor discussed that, and the other quotes I'm supposed to get, you all know these two guys, they're gonna get back to me with quotes.
Maybe you can get them this week?
And the gentleman that just spoke on the phone, Mr. Foster, he was one of the guys that, he's a certified lifeguard that I did speak to, that he was probably interested in there.
Okay, Mr. Cook?
Thank you for this opportunity to come to you all and speak. First of all, in reference to the statute, I agree with Mr. Brown that should be a referendum in order to make that determination by the citizens of Randolph County. But when you want to talk about the school system, I was here to observe and listen. The school system is taking some hits that I think is totally unfair. Education is a major part in this county as far as attracting businesses to this area. We have some intelligent kids in our school system. We have some very intelligent kids in our school system. We have some very dedicated workers in our school system. The turnover rate has not been a rate that has been voluntary over the years. It was where teachers was forced out of the school system, where they cut back and got rid of good principals, good superintendents that had done an extremely good job in the school system and making sure that education process took place. Some will lay the problem on everything that they would like for it to be except for the right thing. The county, this is an issue countywide, and you all know as well as I do, if you educate students in this area, you're going to have less problems in this community. Your crime rate is going to be lower. Recreation, if you have more recreation in this community, give the students in this county somewhere to go after hours. I used to open the gym up 3 days a week, but it was a condition that your grades had to be up to snuff, could not be in trouble, and I would have anywhere from 20, 30 kids every Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday night. There wasn't any fights up there, but 1 or 2 times, and I indicated to them we wasn't going to tolerate that. And when that happened, I would make the kids shake hands, and I ain't talking about no small kids, I'm talking about some grown kids, because that's the way they acted. Shake hands, and we continue to play ball. I agree this needs to be a concerted effort in this community. We are at a point in time where blame don't need to be made to nobody, whether it's the school system, the county, or the city. Working together is going to solve these problems. Calling blame to any one particular area, you're just calling blame, and you don't have any idea of what you're talking about. But when you get on these different boards and you find out the intricate mechanism that it takes to operate, you come to board meeting, you come to city council meeting, you come to the Cuthbert Randolph County Board of Education, you come to the Randolph County Commission meeting, find out what's going on in the community. Learn how you can be a solution to the problem instead of talking about the problem. Talking don't do anything, it's just talk. Actions speak louder than words. And if you have a genuine concern about changing the process, learn how to work with the peoples that are on the Board of Education, on the City Council, on the County Commission, in trying to get the issues solved. I think as a community, it's beyond time that we start working together. We can work together if you want to work together. It just depends. Some peoples may not want to work with certain people that are on the school board, that's on the city council, on the county commission. But you truly have an interest in trying to change things, you work together and to do that. But the school system, what we are doing, the school system have more technology than we ever had in the system before. All our kids in elementary and middle school, they have iPads. We are bringing these kids up to today's technology, and we're not going to allow anyone to keep us from doing that. We're going to be implementing Spanish in elementary school and middle school for the first time, something you will not find in any of your surrounding schools. We have smart boards in all our elementary. You want to know what the school system is doing to educate students in Randolph County? Come to the Board of Education. Go by the superintendent's office. She can enlighten you on the things that are being done to make sure that education is a top priority in our school system. Change is a gradual process, but we're trying to speed up that process to ensure, because the key to this community is our youth. If you don't have youth in this community that's willing to go off and become educated and come back and put something in this community, it's just going to dry up and wither away. But you got to make it attractive enough. The city has to make it attractive enough for kids to want to go off to college and come back and put something in this community. The county has to do that. The school system has to do that in providing opportunities. It takes working together. We can lay the blame as much as we want until we start doing something about it. This is where it needs to start today. Thank you.
I have a question. I understand that, and you might not know the answer, but 14 of our children did go to Auburn to compete in the Math Fest. 10 of them went to state in Atlanta. Did Eddie qualify to go on to national?
Yes, and the school system is going to be paying for those trips with charter funds. We have the funds to do that. We're going to do everything. When our kids start excelling, we're going to do everything that we can possibly do to make sure that that process continues. And they will be going. It's not going to be expense to the parents. It's not going to be expense because we have the money that has been obligated to us up under the charter program to send those kids to make sure they represent Randolph County. Like I said, we have a great deal of intelligent students in this community. And another thing that we're doing to try to help with the recreation in Randolph County, we started a basketball in elementary school for the boys and girls. That participation has been tremendous. Recreation, and a lot of people may not think that recreation coincides with academics, but it does. It has a very important part in academics. If you put a kid in recreation, give that child something to do in the course of the day to keep their mind busy. But there are restrictions with that. In our school system, if you're going to play basketball, if you're going to be in the chorus, if you're going to be, and we have a band, we're bringing the band back to our school system also.
Yes.
We're bringing that back. We have it out there now where we're taking the application for that. You've got to get our students involved in recreation in our school system, extracurricular activities. What comes with that, you cannot get in trouble. You must keep your grades up. If a kid want to play in these extracurricular activities or be involved, they got to stay out of trouble. They got to have decent grades. There was a time, our school system, first of all, we haven't had 5 superintendents to go through our school system in the last 10 years. We definitely haven't had 7 principals. That's why when you want to know something about the school system, instead of talking about it, you don't know what you're talking about. You need to come to the board and ask the questions, and we can give you the answer to those questions. We can provide it to you more than someone out and about that don't know what they're talking about. But recreation is what we need. They go together. If we can work together with the county or the city, we'll be more than willing to. We have a gymnasium up there that we're willing to work with the county. We just need someone to help supervise it. I tried to recruit someone after I stopped doing it, but you did not have anybody that's willing to pay the time or put in the time, maybe the city and the county and the school system can go in together and pay someone to do those things. But we gotta work together. If we wanna make sure something happens, we gotta work together. And I know that the school system is not the problem in this county. Thank you.
I would like to respond a few seconds. That says I didn't pinpoint to nobody in particular, but I don't want to name how many principals and things. See, I was pinpointing that we can get together. It did be no harm to nobody who did it or not, who did not. Point is very simple. They did have employee turnover ratio. Employee turnover ratio is a big thing. A lot of homegrown teachers are going somewhere. All I'm recommending is if we focus on people who live here all their life, if those educators go to other county and teach somewhere else, why can't we, bring them here, down here? They know the community, they can do better to our kids. That's all I'm suggesting. I didn't want to pinpoint anybody whose fault is that. As a team, we can work it on. What I see, I told. That's what I'm saying. If somebody says like, I didn't know, I know. At least our 5 principles have changed. I didn't come here prepared to pinpoint anybody. I know Mr. Byrd was a very good principal when he came. I know people don't like, discipline is the main thing. But data speaks for itself. Data speaks for itself. The number, where we stand in the state. What is the number of the school system? We have 400 something out of the whole state of Georgia. So if you're talking about data, just see the data too. How many kids, what's the strength now? The strength is going down. See that data. So if you're talking about data, you say actions speak louder than words. So everybody sees the action. Everybody knows what's happening. So we need to get together and work on it. Rather than just, I know there are a lot of things we can claim, this we did. We should focus on what we did not do. Then we can do better. If you want to improve, if you focus on what we did not do, if you go to a doctor, don't you tell them I eat an apple a day every day. Tell me I got a problem in my knee so that he can focus here. So the problem, let's focus on the problem. Like Mr. Brown said, like Mr. Jenkins said. If you do not know, if you don't want to discuss the problem, we cannot solve it. So they are problems. So let's accept it and then only we can fix it. If you think everything is so fine, why would kids' strength is so down? Why people are leaving the county? It should go up if everything was fine. I know when we came here, it was 900 kids. Now the kids' strength is down. Where are they going? Why it's not attractive for the kids or parents to bring their kids here? If you're doing so good, let's do it together. Let's try to fix this problem. Let's first understand there is a problem. If you keep saying that there ain't no problem, we can never fix it. Thank you.
May I say something good about Cuthbert?
Yes.
I'm not asking you about
Keep it brief, Mr. Attorney, come on. Get the microphone where they can hear you.
Okay, you're gonna hear this. If you want an example of what's good about Cuthbert, and I know she has used my name several times, and I used to tell her don't use mine so much because it might go against her. Mr. Wesley, be quiet for a minute. Miss Buchanan, will you stand up for me? Please stand up, just stand up, so they can see what I'm talking about. This woman has started bringing action into Randolph County. She has helped, and if you don't believe it, if you have been to the Jazz Festival last year and saw the progress we made, that was because when I met her, I met this lady because I was looking for somebody else at the convocation. Because I used to go to all of them. I got to know all the presidents of Andrew College. And her speech that day mentioned Fletcher Henderson. And I think she thought I was somebody's grandmother there. Because she bowed to me so graciously, glad to have you. I said, thank you. She went outside and standing at the door, and I introduced myself, and I said, I'm glad to hear that you mentioned Fletcher Henderson. I said, I'm the founder of the foundation. And she got excited. She went and got the band man that was there that day, the band director. That day we talked. Did you all come to the festival last year? If you did, you missed it. Who helped that woman? That woman Or should I say that lady? Y'all said lady. That woman. Now, if I can work with people, so can you. If she can work with people, so can you. Okay? It doesn't cost us anything. Do you see what she has done up in the square? Y'all got dumb, empty back buildings. She has painted buildings. For Fletcher Henderson house, when they was trying to put it together, who sanded the floors? Who sanded those floors? That woman. Okay? Now she's just one. You guys understand what I'm saying? Something good has happened in Cuthbert. And something better will happen in Randolph County if we work together. Now you can't shut me up. Because if you say, and I heard somebody say it, I heard her mumble, there she go again. That's right.
That's right.
Here she is. Because the truth is the truth.
That's right.
Now if you can't work with me, I can work with you. It's just that simple. I will come to your meetings. I was told once I go to all the meetings. And I do. Why? I want to hear what's going on. I don't want you to tell me. I want to hear it. And if I can say something, the mayor has shut me down. But he does it in such a way that Ms. Curtin will take care of that. He'll take care of that. But you gotta be heard. And stop standing back grumbling about what we ain't getting done. If it ain't getting done, get up, let's do something about it. Right, Scott? Thank you.
May I say something for 1 second? I know we're prolonging the time, but since Ms. Carney called me out, so I think I must say something. And believe it or not, when I left my seat and walked over to Dr. Buchanan and I asked her, I said, did you get up and say something about Andrew College? And I think she shook her head. But I'm going to end on a very positive note as well. I think we have two outstanding institutions here in Randolph County, here in Cuthbert. Once students graduate from high school, there are some options in Cuthbert for them to do. One, if you're looking for a post-secondary school, look at Andrew College. And then if you're looking for a technical institution, look at Albany Technical College. Just so happens where I'm employed. But those are, I did a speech at the high school on during Black History Month, and we were talking about, it's just not enough for a student to graduate anymore from high school. You're going to have some post-secondary training because the world is so specialized. And what would be a tremendous money saver, instead of looking at a four-year institution right away, look at Andrew College. Look at Albany Tech. You can develop those skills that could take you anywhere you would like to go. So my spiel is, we have two outstanding institutions. If when I look over the group, perhaps your grandchildren, you can tell your grandchildren about sending them to, and I have grandchildren that are ready to go to school, so hopefully you may think about those two institutions. And it's just a money saver. Instead of going to, right now, the University of Georgia or any other institution, you can look at maybe a community college first. And those two institutions are located right here in Randolph County. Thank you.
And after that, can we look at Randolph County, matter of fact, this whole region? Isn't this a great place? Isn't this a great place? We got the school there, we got Taylor College, we got Andrew College. This is a great place. And it can be better. No, it's going to get better. Not can be. It's going to get better. with meetings like this, and thank you all.
Does anybody else on the council have any? Ms. Johnson, you have anything to say? Y'all, Mark, you have anything to say? Yeah, we're gonna wind it down here in just a minute. It's time for you to speak.
Won't take long. Okay. There's a lot going on. There's a lot that has gone on. My education is very short. I went to a training school, Randolph County Training High School. Very educational. Learned a lot. I spent 74 years in a uniform. Started from a Cub Scout. Tonight, it was a great thing. This is not the first one. Some might remember we had one once before over at the library. But what I would like to say here tonight is old times, Blue Horse days. There was 3 hours, reading, writing, and arithmetic. Forgotten. We talk about jobs. We need read, writing, and arithmetic. We got people that down and say we need race. I don't think no one in this place has the same color shoes. Different. But they are together. They walk together. Right now, I heard the words behind the scenes. There's a lot going on. I've always been behind the scenes. That's why a lot of people don't think I'm doing anything, which I don't care what they think. I'm me. In the meantime, the latest thing is, their latest, and I'm sure all of you here know Miss Kenita Murphy. I've gotten with her, and we'll possibly get with the school. Right now, I've also spoken to Mr. Gerald Green. Mel Watley was informed. Some of you might have heard of it, some of you haven't. Anger management. Now, some years ago, I'm sure Mr. Jenkins, Mr. Cook was aware of this. There was a big fight out at the school. Folk gang, Cuthbert, or whoever. Once was taken on some of these kids. Got with the assistant district attorney. He let me teach an anger management class. I taught the class at the daycare center. Kids from folk gangs and Cuthbert. 20 hours. Those young people I have not heard from for any incident since. And what I'm saying now, and it's open to everybody, school shootings. Everybody said an officer, and I've been in law enforcement since May the 17th, 1956 at 1 o'clock. You have to know people. I've been around them. I've been in 34 countries. I know a few people. But the thing is, come home. Know what's at home. Here, they are investigating school shootings. My opinion, they started wrong. We need to start, and I'll be discussing this, Ms. Murphy and I will be getting with the school system. If they'll accept us, and I think they will, Mr. Cook is open-minded. The anger management should go into the school system. Starting with the small kids, the real small. I won't see it finished, but they're investigating people our age bracket, saying they did this, they did that, they are crazy. But the problem didn't start up here. I've been dealing with kids for quite some time. The problem starts here at home, down below. Teach that kid at home. It's a lot of kids. I'm open-minded, and people don't like what I say, which again, I don't care, because they're getting a lot of educational sex at home. They're getting crack, weed, taught at home. Give these kids in your lower grades and work them up, and then give to the parents anger management. Like I say, I won't see it, but anger management in the younger generation, all these small kids, it would help them in abolish most of your school shooting, because it's going to grow. You all haven't seen anything yet. The school shooting is on the rise. And don't let nobody tell you, well, he didn't tell us it's going to happen. You need to get a head start on it. Teach these kids now. And part of the educational system, what I had for head start, for anger management, why am I here? What am I going to do about it? The law, a tie, education, race relation. We had 14 different items that I went through with these kids. No bars, no turns unturned, open-minded. And as I say, I haven't seen any of them back before the judge. And when I completed that course, your DA now, assistant DA, who is the DA now, dropped all the warrants on these kids. And there were people going around, well, they did this because they were black. They didn't say nothing when he dropped the warrant. So let's forget about that and think about we got all color shoes at home. And think about back in my day, it was a 3 R, read, write, and arithmetic. Now it's different. 3 E's, education. Economics. Everybody. So it's time you drop the hat and wear the band, get your coat together, and we work together. If you don't, it don't bother me. Thank you.
Okay, folks, we appreciate y'all coming out tonight. We appreciate all the opinions, all the suggestions, all the questions. Hopefully, we're gonna run a lot of these suggestions down. We will deal with this issue of the statute. I appreciate everybody willing to work together and move this county forward. Thank you very much.
Don't forget to sign in.
I just want to say before we go, all those who want to work with someone, just like Ms. Howard said, please put your name on this list. Because if we don't work together, how can we get anything done?
Thank you.
Mr. Brown.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know why you need to be a politician. You need to be a politician to sit where I am.
I have to move to do that.
I didn't have to say nothing. You said everything y'all needed to say.
Well,
it was good.
I think the more people that say it, the better. More people say it, because they think if I'm just, they just say, well, he's crazy.
It's only one or two that will say it, and then when somebody say it, they won't stand up with you when it's time to say it. Mr. Jenkins got up and he confirmed it, the same thing.
Yeah, there were 8 principal changes. I mean, 16 years, it's 8 principal, 8. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to pinpoint anything. Yeah, I know, I didn't come here prepared.
Before you can make that argument, you have to make a comparison to other schools. What's the norm? What's the average turnover rate?
Oh, I can tell you that. It's a very statement I made. If for any business, my employees, I got 3 employees. Nicky been here 9 years. Corey been there 6 years. There's another one there. More people are trained, more have to train more, got to spend more, got to be right. It's not I'm pinpointing anybody. That's what my experience is. As a businessman, before turnover, you got to train employees again and again, and to
I
get
know,
to
but
know.
what you're saying is, if you're saying that that's a problem,
Yeah. I'll tell you.
is it a problem that is exclusive to Randolph County, or is it a problem statewide, or
I can tell you. I can
countrywide?
tell you it's not statewide. In Muscogee County, the superintendent is there. Before that, used to be Mr. Jenkins stayed 3 years. Mr. Burns stayed there 11 years. Now after they left, every 2 years, I'm the one to know the problem. It should be the people who are talking about the data who are inside. They should know why everybody is leaving or they're firing. That means the problem is with the hiring. If I have to fire somebody, train somebody for a year and 2, and then I have to fire him, so that means something is wrong. I'm not picking up the right people.
I understand what you're saying.
That's all.
I'm just saying,
It's not statewide.
when you make your argument, it's more convincing. If
I know, if I
you
get the
make a comparison.
that's what I say. I never came prepared. Anything anybody else. No, he's right. But what happened with nobody told me, then I find out Mr. Brown, your cousin works at the propane. He told me that Mr. Brown, he's always right. It's on his Facebook page. So I said, well, I should know. I mean, I just came here. I didn't know what was the agenda. So it just for the moment, I felt like I'll make a statement. That's all I did. I didn't have no bias on anybody who's doing wrong. All I'm saying is that as a businessman, it reflects on me if my employees keep leaving or changing. If I'm not taking care of them, as a boss, like something wrong. Why my business? I'm still able to do my business at small place. When people told me I won't survive in 2 months or 3 months, that's not the right location for a convenience store. But I'm here for 12 years, still doing good. I got 3 employees regularly working, and I pushed my employee Nikki, if you know her. I told her you can bring your books here at Sunday, bring your kids here. Please do not leave education. Guess what? She got the master's degree, and now she's in charge of something. She's still
I know. You running for board education?
No, I ain't. I'm not running.
They said somebody told me that you.
No, I'm not.
No, there's supposed to be there's an Indian
that was
guy
good.
running. That's what the rumor
You need to
was.
involve more and more. Thank you, sir.
How you doing? I didn't get a chance to get up there.
No, somebody running against, who's running against?
I want to tell you about that.
Yeah, that's Mr. Bothra. Somebody.
They said it was an Indian guy.
Yeah, not me. That's Mr. Bothra. The BP gas station, son.
Oh, down there?
Yeah, I mean, the reason why he's running, I'll tell you why. because he came about 6 months ago. He was telling me, I set the example. I sent my son right here from first grade to the 12th grade. He's doing, he's in medical school at Mercer. He was valedictorian. I did not send him to no private school. Part of the community, I will sit right again. I will not send him. I taught him how to be. He played baseball, he played football right here. So I mean, it's not that I'm not against nobody. If you want to be part of the community, be it. Show it. Actions speak louder. I'm telling you. But you doing a great job.
Hey, I will get with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I understood exactly what you said.
8 principles is something. Before a teacher knows your boss, and every 2 years a teacher got to.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Now I know who
I mean, he comes here. I did not.
I'm not going to block you.
No. I did not want to pinpoint this. I don't know why Mr. Cook got offended. I'm not running against him. I just said that's a problem right there. I've been going to the meeting and they bar me out. That's
what I told you. What I was saying is the reason, because I keep my ear to the ground.
Okay.
He has an Indian guy running against him.
Oh no.
And so he thought it was okay.
All connected to
No. I mean, if you somebody, yeah.
That's politics.
It's not me. I mean, anyways, like, why would I say I'm running and I have to campaign?
You doing all right? All right. Enjoy it.
By the way, I was right. 8 principles that came. Yeah, he just came here.
8 in how many years?
Yeah, 16 years. Every 9 total. I missed one.
principles.
The principles.
That's
and
right,
then
Mr. Jenkins.
it's 9. I know it. You can.
Wasn't Cooks was here.
And you force.
Wait a minute, now you're doing high school or middle school?
We did middle and high. He did
Middle and high. Middle and
Middle and
high.
high to go up. Bird, Williams.
Jordan.
I think I've seen you over there on Andrew Street a few times. I used to walk up and down.
I am a retired tax commissioner after 45 years, and I remember looking at your daddy.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
remember when this happened. I remember everything. I mean, I was listening.
Okay.
No, you wouldn't. Thank you. All right.